New York media market and the Knicks, and I completely agree with him. That's coming up.
Thanks, Colin. Time for our final topic of the day. We are about 9 hours away from tip-off tonight at Oracle. Game 3 between the Raptors and Warriors. We know Kevin Durant is out, but the big question, will Klay Thompson play? Game time decision with that injured hamstring. Shannon, you've predicted Kawhi will get at least 30 points, but what's the overall final score tonight?
Got the Warriors in a very close ball game.
Did you?
Hey, I got 114 to 110 Warriors.
Ooh, wow. Wow,
Yeah.
Jen, look at my score right there. Can you see that?
Was he
Close
cheating
enough.
with you, or were you cheating
might
on
have.
him?
Except mine's reversed.
Yeah.
I got 115, 110 visiting team. Now, what are your logical reasons or illogical?
Well, I think the Warriors are going to come out on fire. That crowd's going to be raucous. They hadn't been Golden State hadn't played there in a long time. The last 2 games, they won on the road in Portland. The first 2 games, they opened this series, they're on the road. So this is the first time they have them back. Tied series. Steph Curry gets that thing going early. They'll build a big lead. Raptors will do what they did Sunday, chop into it, but it'll be too little too late.
Really?
Yeah.
I say tonight belongs to number 2. Game 3 is number 2.
Now
I
you
say
want it.
number 2
Now you need it.
rises. He's got 35 and 13. I'm going to give him 2 steals and 2 blocks. And I believe Kyle Lowry will finally show up.
He needs to,
Yeah,
by
he's
time.
gonna show up, and I think he's going to show out with 4 threes tonight. And I do think it'll be a shootout down the stretch, but I think Fred VanVleet will close it for the visiting
What
team.
about your guy, Siakam, the best player?
He'll be
you
all
ain't
right.
mention him.
He'll be okay.
How you going to not mention the best player on Toronto, remember?
He'll get his 20. Yeah.
What about Gasol?
He'll get you about 10 and 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
I sure hope he's better than what he was Sunday.
That's going to be it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9:30 Eastern. Right now, Colin tells you why KD could be a disaster in New York. The Herd starts now.
Undisputed.
Oh, are we loaded? This, on a Wednesday, is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, we're on iHeartRadio. We're on Fox Sports Radio, and we are on FS1. Cleanly shaven, wearing my Raptor black. Joy is in Golden State Warrior gold.
Oh, I am not.
Sort of looks like it. Tip in your hand.
It kind of is, but that was not the purpose.
I'm going with the Raptors with an upset win tonight.
I am too.
All right. I don't know if I've ever used this line on the air, Joy, but I do think you and I think I know you well enough to say this, and I know this describes me. I believe in life we all become what we overcome. Not what mom gives you, not the prep school. You will become, all you guys listening, all you parents listening, your kids will become what they have to overcome. And that will create a mettle and an armor and a toughness and a drive and a focus. Charles Barkley, who I love, disagree with a lot, but I love him, said this about Kevin Durant going to the Knicks. He goes, he's one of the greatest players I've ever seen. He's also got some of the thinnest skin I've ever seen. I don't know if you're made for New York City. He's arguing with these teenagers online. You're not going to be able to deal with the New York media. He's a great person. He's a great player. I don't think he has the mental makeup to play in New York. Charles is right. And I don't blame Kevin Durant. You become what you overcome. And I want you to think about this. Let's talk about Michael Jordan for a second. Probably the greatest basketball player of all time. Cut from his high school team. Goes to Carolina, the number 1 or number 2 basketball power, total microscope. Hell, he may be the second biggest program in his own state. ACC was easily the best conference in college basketball. Goes to Chicago, 2 coaches fired, battles with teammates the entire time. Quentin Daly, Orlando Woolridge, they called him a ball hog. Then they get a new coach, and he can't get past Detroit. 3 straight years the Pistons beat him. He leaves, go to baseball, and struggles in minor league baseball. Can't hit the curve. Comes back first year to Chicago. People forget about this. Loses to Orlando in the playoffs. 3 more titles. What made Michael Jordan was all the adversity, all the no, all the rejection. Let's take LeBron James. Now, it's not quite as difficult for LeBron because every generation has every basketball star generation's got a little easier life. But at 16, he's on the cover of SI, under a microscope. He goes to his hometown, Cleveland. Little pressure. Got to win. 2 coaches fired. Doesn't get along with the owner. Can't beat the Boston Celtics. Adversity. He goes to Miami. Got to win 4 titles. Got to win 5. Some of it self-inflicted pressure. Lose the first year. The decision. Getting crushed. Then he goes to Cleveland. There's a lot of adversity. A lot of adversity. Now, Michael faced more than LeBron simply because LeBron had more money earlier and because generally it's easier for basketball stars today than when it was 30 years ago. But LeBron multiple times has been the villain, battling an owner, fired coach, adversity. Now let's go to Kevin Durant. You are what you overcome. Kevin Durant goes to a football school to play basketball. Actually, for as great as he is, that's sort of low profile. How often do I talk Texas college basketball? Then he goes to Seattle, which geographically might as well be Juneau, Alaska. Isolated. Then they go to Oklahoma City. Small market media, mostly beloved. I mean, mostly beloved. He once complained about a headline in a newspaper. He didn't like it. Then he goes to Golden State. Well, come on, it's the Ritz-Carlton of basketball teams. The coach is smart. The players are great. The system's in place. Where's the adversity? I'm not saying his life is all rainbows, but we become what we overcome. Michael Jordan just went through gravel road and off-road, and Kevin Durant's basketball life has been a football school, hiding in Seattle, comfortable in Oklahoma City, joining the greatest team ever. So that's what he is now. He is a great, great basketball player. But does he have the mettle? Does he have the mettle to deal with New York? And let me throw this in, because I've lived this experience. When you stay at the Ritz-Carlton, it's much, much more difficult to then stay at the Bates Motel. Like if you never stayed at a Ritz-Carlton or a Four Seasons or a Mandarin or all that, and you just always stayed like at the Hilton. Hiltons are nice, right? They're solid. I stayed at a lot of Hiltons. Well, then if you have to stay at the Bates Motel, you're like, well, it's not as nice. But when you live at the Ritz, and that's what the Warriors are, the culture, the GM played, the coach played, Steph Curry's the easiest superstar to play with. Klay Thompson doesn't talk. The rough guy to get along with is Draymond Green, and a lot of people say Draymond and KD are actually closer than people think. And then you go to the Knicks. Owner, I'll pass. Roster, terrible. Front office, people say it's good. Prove it to me. You know, you start looking at KD, I don't think it could just not be about titles. I think New York could be a disaster for him. Brett Favre went from the well-run Packers. Say what you want about Green Bay. Pretty darn well-run for most of the last 25 years. They don't always have the perfect coach, but they draft well. They're smart. They're not a lot of chaos. He goes to the Jets. Man overboard. When you have been without chaos, and then you're inserted with pressure to chaos, also throw this in. If I said to you, name the star in the NBA who is great, but he can be a little difficult to deal with and he's a little erratic. Kyrie Irving? That's who would join you? I'd take AD in a heartbeat over that. So this is not a criticism of Kevin Durant. It is not. But his basketball reality is not Michael Jordan's basketball reality. Cut. Carolina, massive pressure, fighting with teammates, coaches fired, can't get past Detroit. By the time Michael Jordan finally won a title, he grabbed that trophy like it was a puppy and started bawling because he had been through so many obstacles. And Kevin Durant's first title, he loved it. I don't remember the crying. I mean, the tougher the road, the longer the cry. And again, I like KD. I think he's the best basketball player in the world. I'm a fan. He's sensitive. But here's a little video. He does get a little sensitive with the social media and the criticism thing.
I have nothing to do with the Knicks. I don't know who traded Porzingis. They got nothing to do with me. I'm trying to play basketball. Y'all come here every day, ask me about free agency, ask my teammates, my coaches. You rile up the fans about it. Y'all let us play basketball. That's all I'm saying. And now when I don't want to talk to y'all, it's a problem with me. Come Come on, man.
You weren't talking to the media.
So, who are you? Why do I got to talk to you?
How are you playing? How's the team playing in the last couple weeks?
I'm done. You know you don't care about that.
Listen, AK's not mean-spirited. He's a good guy. But Charles Barkley here summed it up. He's arguing with teenagers online. That's true. That's why we all laugh when he says that. We're like, oh, my God, he's right. He is arguing with teenagers online. You become what you overcome. He hasn't overcome to the level of MJ, level of LeBron, I don't think, in my opinion. All right, let me shift to this. So yesterday, about halfway through our show, Joy, the story broke that Anthony Davis and Rich Paul have told the Pelicans, listen, we love you, nice couple of breakfasts, but we're out of here. So the Pelicans, the story broke yesterday, the Pelicans now, David Griffin, smart guy, used to be in Cleveland with Rich Paul, LeBron knows him well, they're going to make a move for him. And remember this, don't kid yourself on this. I've been told this by more than one executive. When you make a big draft pick or you make a trade as an executive, got to make sure the owner thinks you won the trade. That's a real thing. That's why a lot of times executives float rumors to see how it plays on media, talk show, radio, TV. Okay, it's not a disaster. Here's the narrative. Don't kid yourself. This is a real thing. So Anthony Davis and Rich Paul now, they have the leverage. As my golden